Hello, everybody. Welcome to a vintage cube draft. Kind of an interesting first pack where two cards work very well together. If you play these two cards, you just essentially win the game. You gain 14, they take 14. Very powerful play. The problem is if we take Shieldred, someone's going to take Wheel of Fortune soon after us and potentially cut that lane. With that said, I think I still will take the Shieldred. The only other card that's close in power level would be maybe like Urza. But Shieldred is just so good, and you don't even need to be a all in draw 7 deck 4 to be good, although that is where it's best. Now we see a pretty mediocre second pack, or not even mediocre, but no clear pairing with this. I think I might just take the Grief. You are often blue-black in this deck, so we could take Force of Negation, but I think it makes more sense to take the Grief. Passing, Sneak Attack, notably. Alright, well, not a ton of great black stuff here, but I do generally think this deck is likely to be blue-black when you get the quick Shieldred, and Tameo is the best card. That's the one we'll be taking. I love this card. I think it's so much fun and also so good. And actually just every way it's great. I think the art's really beautiful on both sides, and I made my icon into this recently, actually. It's very powerful. It's like fun, the flavor of like, it's an inquisitive student that's investigating, and then it becomes a seasoned scholar with like a new set of powerful abilities. Like, it's just an awesome card. And the card we will be taking. I think I'm just going to take a counterspell now. Not a lot of black. I'm not going to like cut black or like necessarily say I'm leaving black, but I'm not going to be forcing it with something like Carnage Interpreter. I do like Dragonzoid Channeler. I like Karakas, but I think counterspell is probably just the best pick here. So looking for blue-black fixing, looking for cheap spot removal, and then it'd be awesome to find combo pieces for the Shieldred, but also not necessary. Huh. Black is looking pretty cut. We might even just want to consider dropping black. Like we could take Spar's Headquarters and just do a full pivot, but also these are both strong cards. I think I'm just gonna take the Kitsa, which is a card that doesn't like, commit us to cutting black. I guess no pick we can make here would commit us to cutting black, but I think I'll take this. It is good with Shieldred, good with Tameo. It's certainly good if we end up with any reanimation stuff, which I don't think is super likely, but could happen. You could also just take a Johnny for power level, I think, but I'm going to take the Kitsa here. Whoa, okay. That's a Nadu. Wasn't really planning on being green, but a sixth pick Nadu is a bit of a signal. Yeah, I think we take that. A lot of other solid stuff here. This is the first pack in a while where there's been good black stuff, but let's take the Nadu. Very, very high upside. It's also early enough we can kind of build around it. We'll see if we can get there on the mana. I think we do need to work on the mana since we just took it. So, I mean, Recurring Nightmare's fine. Occult Epiphany's fine. Neither's that exciting. Let's take a Wastewood Verge. I think this is better than Waterlogged Grove. Waterlogged Grove can cast these on turn 1, but I think the ones that pay life are not going to be great in like the sort of slower shell, most likely. Wow, a lot of good stuff for us here. I think I want to take the Overgrown too. We could take Consult the Star Charts, which is good card selection. Barragoyf is just a great card, but if we're trying to play all these colors, I think we really have to prioritize the fixing. Oh, Barragoyf is so good though. But I'm going to be disciplined. In your 3-color deck, you got to take the lands. There's the option of cutting black. We could have taken the blue-green land and just moved away from black, but then we obviously can't take Barragoyf. Alright, Deathrite Shaman's pretty great. We don't have like fetch lands yet necessarily, but it's just good in general if you can you do the other two halves, and then hopefully we can get some fetch lands to make it really good. With Tameo and Deathray, we have maybe the best one drop of the past and the best one drop of the present. Nothing looking too exciting here. I'm not that interested in Exploration or Baloth Prime. I think I'll just take Dam as a spot removal spell, but it's not a card that I like. May or may not play it. Just 2 mana, double black, could be tough. If we end up with really good fixing, I'll play it, because I do want to have some spot removal, and we don't have any others right now. Alright, Generous Scent's a nice pickup. We could maybe play Lotus Cobra too, but I think Generous Scent's a bit better. It doesn't get blue yet, but it does get green-black, and hopefully we'll get more down the road. Nice pickup. Now I'll take a Malcolm. Another nice pickup. We now have... Get out of here, Tameo. We now have a bunch of wizards, so we could potentially try to be playing Flame of Anor, although that would require us to play red. Yeah, 4 wizards. Love to see that. Not thrilled with any of these picks. I think I'll We're so far away from playing any of these, I guess. Whatever. I'll just take a random card. Are we looking to splash another color? Probably not. Our fixing is kind of mediocre, and we're already in 3 colors. Oh, wow. Springheart and Tuco Wield? That's amazing. Very, very good copying Grief. We don't have a ton. I mean, most of our other creatures are legends right now, but that's an incredible late pickup. Okay, so happy we moved into green. We got a couple pieces of fixing and just a bunch of really good green stuff late. Black was definitely the least open of our colors, but we have a couple pieces of black fixing, and I think I'm inclined to play it if we have the opportunity to. This pack is pretty weak, though, for all our colors. Wow, yeah, I do not like this pack at all. Don't think I want to take a Ketria Triome. Don't think I want to take a Tameo. I guess we could speculate on Sedgemoor Witch, but that's such a weak first pick. Don't think we care, really. I mean, yeah, this pack is just terrible. I'll do that, but that's just like a brick of a pack, unfortunately. This one's much better. There's Inquisition, but I think I'm taking Breeding Pool even over Inquisition here. Yeah, that's a good pickup. Now we see Tropical Island. Nice. Some powerful white removal spells, but let's just take the Trop. Kaito, if it wheels, we maybe play. But yeah, I think that back to back, like getting 2 lands there is really nice. We can just forget this Sedgemoor Witch pick ever happened and say we got 2 lands at the start of pack 2. What a good start. Nothing here looks too good. We could get a little weird with it and take a Traxa and potentially just try to hardcast it. Not that impossible to do. Alternatively, we could just take Starting Town for good fixing, though, which is maybe the more disciplined pick. Yeah, we have nothing really pulling us towards Reanimator. Let's just take the Starting Town, I think. Now there's White of the Reliquary, but I think I'd rather take a Fetch, and Windswept Heath is probably going to be better than Prismatic Vista, since we have good lands already. We don't have a blue-black land, but that A, this doesn't fetch it, and B, we have all the other types. Would like to find something to make Nadu really go off. I mean, it's not bad just as a value play, but if we could find, Lightning Reeves in particular, then I'll be very happy. Another nice pack for us. I think I'm going to take the Watery Grave. I do like Preordain a lot. 6 is very strong. And Shifting Woodland is also sneakily a big consideration here. Shifting Woodland's great in Nadu decks. But I think we just want to take the Watery Grave. Yeah, let's do that. That really solidifies the mana base now that we have all the different types of fetchables. And now we can take a Consider over Sylvan Caryatid. Don't really care about Spectral Restitching. Don't really care about Ghost Vacuum. I mean, this would be a good sideboard card. But yeah, let's take this. Which, among other things, is nice with some of our cheap wizards. Like, it's good with Tameo and Kitsa. Alright, nice pickup. I'll take a Snuff out here. There's Xander's Lounge for the possible red splash, but I think we're probably out on that. Ranker's fine. It's nice with Nadu. But yeah, let's take a Snuff out. We are very light on removal, and Snuff out's kind of the perfect removal spell. This is our first pack, which is still not great for us. We could take Ketria Triome. It's, I think, really just Ketria Triome or Thundertrap Trainer. And the Thundertrap is not that good. We have mostly creatures, actually, so I'll take the Ketria Triome. Which is good if we want to splash green, if we want to splash red, but probably not going to be playing it. Now we could take... I just can't imagine us ever playing Flage, right? I'll take a Gush, I guess. But I don't think we're playing any of those. Unearth is pretty interesting. It's good with the card Nadu. Abhorrent Oculus, I think, is not as amazing. Multiversal Passage is fine, but we have good fixing at this point. I think I'm going to just take the Unearth, actually. It's nice that we can cycle it, of course. Now I'll take a Talisman. Elvish Reclaimer. Whoa, late Renin 6. We only have 1 fetch, though, so I think we're probably unlikely to be playing either of these two. And last pick, Galvanic Discharge. Okay. Pack 3, what are we looking for? Boots for the Nadu. Removal spells. Our fixing looks pretty good. I wouldn't mind a bit more, but we're looking pretty good on that. Oh, wow. Ancestral Recall. I'll take that for sure. That's awesome. Beggars can't be choosers, but I think Time Walk would be probably a little better for this deck, but I will very happily take the Ancestral. Great with Temio. Also great with Kitsa. We could potentially try to copy that draw 7. So we're not an Urza Saga deck. There is Chain of Smog, which is kind of interesting. Could just take it. We also might be able to wheel it though. I kind of like the idea of taking Wasteland, especially when we already have the Ren in 6. We could maybe sort of backdoor into something there. But we could also just take the Chain of Smog. Yeah, I'll take the Wasteland, and we'll see if this thing comes around. Not, it's the sort of combo where, like, even if you have both pieces, I'm not sure you want to play them. They're both pretty bad on their own. If you have, like, all of the pieces, the Witherbloom Apprentice in addition to the Sedgemoor Witch, and then you have the other half of the combo and maybe a Demonic Tutor. In that situation where you're built around it, then it's really good. Just having a deck that happens to be playing black and green and just throwing in these two cards that, like, win the game together but are bad on their own is not generally the way I like to build my decks. I think we want to take a Toxic Deluge here. There is Green Sun Zenith to find the Nadu. If we were more in on Nadu with Lightning Greaves, then I would probably take that, but we're not there right now. So I think I'd rather just take the good interactive spell. And maybe we can wheel one of these green cards. A lot of solid green in this pack. Leovold. That looks pretty nice. Yeah, I'll just take that. It's in our colors. It's just a powerful card. With both Leovold and Shieldred, we're now pretty well set up if we find a Time Twister. Not that that's super likely at this point, but would be nice. Our removal is certainly lacking. That is a bit of a problem. We have high quality. Toxic Deluge and Snuff Out are some of the best removal, but we don't have as many cards in that genre as I would like. With only one fetch, we currently have, I guess Starting Town gives us another one, so we have like 3 free red sources. We would probably, if we got 2 more fetches, then we could make it happen with Ren and 6, but that's another thing that's not that likely. Kind of want to take a Quantum Riddler here. We don't have a ton of card draw, and this card is really good. Outside of that, there's Asika's Chariot, and then I guess Badlands, but not really. Yeah, I'll take a Riddler. I guess we do actually have decent card draw with Ancestral Recall. But Springheart Antuga is also so good with this. Let's just do it. Now we see Harvester of Misery versus some of these green cards. Fanatic of Ruinous is really nice with Quantum Riddler, but not that good in our deck in general. We have a pretty low curve. I think I would rather have a bit of removal, honestly, and then maybe we can wheel one of these green cards. Now I'll just take a Blooming Marsh. Not an exciting pick, but it's a good one. Nethergoyf is solid too, but I'd rather get a little fixing, I think. Now we see Bristly Bill. That is a good card for pairing with Nadu, but I think I'm honestly just going to take Terra Sunder here. Bit more interaction. I think this deck is like lacking interaction more than it's lacking like threats and card draw. Definitely coming together pretty well. This is probably a 17 land deck, so we need 3 more playables. Okay, I think this is the last fresh pack. Could take a Voidwalker or could take a Krasis. Is this card good for us? I mean, it's kind of weird, but it is just big and puts a lot of power into play quickly. I mean, it can be a 7/7. I think I'm going to take it. Well, do we have the mana for Voidwalker? I think this is going to be easier to cast. Let's take it. And just try it. I've never really played with it. We do wheel the Chain of Smog, so do we want to play that combo? Alternatively, we could take Dark Confidant, which seems okay, but not amazing. I think I actually will do it, or at least take it. We might not play it, though. Okay, I'm going to take Sentinel here. A lot of reasonable choices, but Sentinel's really nice with Nadu. And now we do have just a solid theme of, like, a few hard-hitting 3 and 4 drops that can close out the game after, like, we deploy some of these early stuff. So we could just play the deck like so. Oh, no, we need one more spell. And I think I'm not going to play this combo, but we could bring it in certain matchups. I don't think Elvish Reclaimer looks very good. I'm not going to play Ketria Triome. I don't really want to play any of these cards, so hopefully we get one more that we can play. Tifa's kind of funny, but not actually good. Let's take Sorin. I don't think I'm going to play it in the main deck, but it's a decent sideboard card against just, like, really aggressive decks, potentially. I don't love playing Evanston's Pilgrim. I'll take it. Would like to get one more good playable. We could play this Chain of Smog combo if we wanted to, but I don't really think that's where we want to be, so I'd rather get one more good playable and not have to resort to that. Looks like we're not going to get the late playable. Loot. Oh, that's kind of funny. I almost wanted to try to play that. Or could just play... I'll just be streamlined. Yeah, this combo is fine to play. Neither half is good on its own, but they do stuff. Let's see, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think 2 more of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 green. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 black. Yep, looks good. We'll run like this. Yeah, we have not that high of a curve. It looks kind of high right now, but then you can make, this is a 1, this is a 2, this is a 2, this is a 0, this is a 0. All of a sudden, like, your curve is a lot lower. Yeah, seems pretty sweet. Playing some Sultai. I'll see you in round 1. On the draw for round 1 against Ninja Archer. With a good hand. I'll definitely keep this. I think I'm just going to play Breeding Pool tapped on turn 1. No real rush to play the Consider, I think. If they play, maybe we could want to try to play Dam on turn 2, I guess. Let's see what we draw. Let's just plan on Surveilling on turn 1, I think. Grab a black source. And then we can go turn 2. I don't know if we want to get Kitsa or Malcolm in to play more. We're probably going to play one and loot away the other, realistically. So then the question just becomes which one is better, and the answer is, I don't know. Let's grab Underground or Overgrown Tomb. Do we want to kill this now? Honestly, yeah, I think that's a slightly higher priority than getting one of these other things down. Like, this just can go pretty wide. We do have Toxic Deluge in our deck, but I'd rather just not have to deal with that. And then the next one we're probably just jamming Leavehold. Caracas. Oof, don't like that. We have 3 different legends in our hand, and most of our deck is legends too. Caracas. Oh wait, we have Wasteland though. Yeah, so I think we probably just want to go Wasteland plus Kitsa. If they pass with mana up, then I'll hold up Malcolm instead. Ooh. Well, alright, that's not great, but it's not terrible either. Let's take out the Caracas, get the Kitsa down, and pass. Like, they can replay Ghost Vacuum, that doesn't do much. They can replay Chrome Mox, maybe that helps, but, like, they only have 3 cards in hand. What we wouldn't want to see is something like a Mishra's Bauble, but they don't seem to have that, so I think we're alright. And we don't really care about our graveyard. Okay, I think I probably will kill this, though, even though I'm just saying why it's not, like, that big of a deal. We could also just get a little greedy and go for a big Kitsa line, or not even a big Kitsa play, but, like, double our Consider. Yeah, I think I'm actually going to do that. So we'll go kill this, trigger Kitsa. We are dealing ourselves a decent amount of damage, but I think that's okay. The hope is that in this, with this Consider, we can find a black source for Shieldred. So now let's attack. Then cast Consider. After the prowess trigger, this gets up to 3 power. So now we can copy. Springer on N2Go is a great card, but I think I'm graveyarding it here because I need to find lands. Grief. Ooh, that is maybe worth keeping, actually. Yeah, I do still want lands, but I think that's worth keeping because we can cast it now. Kind of a way to turn this like card advantage value stuff into interaction. And I'm going to pitch the Sedgemoor Witch here. We're giving up on the combo. I think that's fine. Let's take the Zerta. I think this card does nothing. Pass turn. The Ghost Vacuum getting up to 6 mana is a little scary. They could potentially just put a bunch of 1/1s into play. Hopefully we're able to do to kill them before they're able to do that. Probably going to be looting away this Malcolm. So we're going to go just like attack with Kitsa. And then ideally we've just drawn a swamp already. Okay, currency converter. Sure. Interesting draw. Alright, I'll start by attacking for 1. So you go attack for 1, then loot, in case we draw something that changes our mind. And assuming we don't draw something relevant, we discard Malcolm. Then we loot Generous Ent to find another land. Use those 3 lands to play Leovold, which doesn't shut down their currency converter, but it does slow it down a bit. They probably shouldn't have even played currency converter. I think they should have just made a 1/1 token with Retrofitter. Yep. Okay, let's just discard Chain of Smog. I think we're not going to be using that this game. Then we'll cycle Generous Ent, grab Trop, and play it. Very good that we could kill their Karakas. We're pretty reliant on legends. And that's why Karakas is just sneakily like one of the best cards in the format. Such a high percentage of the creatures in the format are legends now. So this is like premium interaction that also is just an untapped land that also can set up your own combos. Okay, let's start by just going to combat. Cast this, and I think I'm just gonna pass then. I might even play the Blooming Marsh, honestly. It does like pigeonhole us into discarding one of our, either the Malcolm or our new card, but I think it's still fine to get this into play. Unless we are, maybe we just do it now actually. Okay, let's discard Malcolm, play this, and pass. And now we're in a really good spot. I mean, we have 3 great creatures in play. We also have a counterspell in hand. They need to do something big this turn. If they were to sweep our board, then they probably are slightly ahead. But they don't have enough mana for anything really big, like Upheaval. And it doesn't look like they're playing white for balance. VV is totally fine. So I guess I'll just attack with everything again. They can make a 2/2. I don't think they have anything instant speed though, so I guess it's still pretty much free to attack with everything. Our life total isn't super high, but it's not low enough that I'm that worried. I think what I'll do is I'll declare all of these as attackers and then loot in case we find something that that helps us. Like a removal spell could potentially help us to push through more damage. So I don't know. They maybe go like block, chump, take 4. Sure. Whoa. Okay, well that's an insane draw. So we'll play Riddler like this because I want to leave up counterspell. Oh wait, we tapped poorly. That was pretty dumb. Still in a good spot, but we did tap poorly. Let's just pass. Don't think there's anything they could have here. Okay, I'm just going to Terrace under their Shieldred end of turn. I think they were dead even with the Shieldred, but they're definitely dead now. They're really fighting to the bitter end here. Fair enough. Alright, so we take down game 1, playing against blue-red artifacts. We don't have much of a sideboard in general, and I think we also don't have much of a sideboard in this matchup, so we'll run it back. I guess we could bring in the 17th land on the play if we lose this one, but that's not going to happen. Ninja Archer is a precise player, moving kind of slow as they debate whether they want to play or draw. Normally I like to play, but I do like to draw cards, and you draw an extra card when you go second, so could do that. My brother has long sworn by being on the draw, and I think like in the limited format when we first started, and like core set M10 or whatever, I think they were called M10 or M9. There was just like tons of 1/3 blockers and 2/2 attackers. And my brother's strategy was just like be on the draw, just play 1/3s, and they can never get through. I don't think that quite works in Vintage Cube in the same way, but maybe. All right, I'll keep this hand. It's not the best, but no blue mana. But we have black mana, Wasteland. I think it is just a good enough hand to keep. Lead on this, so we have Dam available on turn 2 if we want it. Alright, nice to draw the island. So we might end up trying to hardcast Harvester of Misery to clear out a bunch of 2/2s if they go deep on that strategy this game. Ooh, don't like to see that. What 4-drop do they have? Oh, Retrofitter Foundry? Not what I was... Oh, and they tapped it wrong, too. Whoops. Okay. So do we want to wasteland them? I don't want to, because they're ahead on board. Like, wastelanding when you're behind on board is not great. They just continue to snowball their advantage a little bit. So I think I might hold off. It's risky, of course. We don't know what they have. But if they just have, like, not, if they don't have a 5 mana artifact. They also played Nettlecyst. Like if they had the One Ring or one of the artifacts like that I'm really afraid of that would make me want to Wasteland, they would have played the last turn. So I think I would rather just build up my own board. Would be nice to find a play to make this turn though, other than having to just dam this. I really don't think that's a good play. Although maybe it is. You know what? Maybe it is because they're a little starved on mana. I guess they could just go like VV, like make a 2/2 and then equip, but then they're not using Retrofit or Foundry. That seems fine. I think I'm just gonna discard Starting Town. Yeah, I'm not positive on this play, but I'm gonna do it. They didn't use the currency converter end of turn. And then they loot, so they can't make a dude again. Unless they find some mana here. But this looks like a solid spot. I mean, I'll expose the Wasteland. I don't love letting them know that we have it, but we'll play it out so that we can play Shieldred this turn, but then still be ready to Wasteland next turn. So I'm going to do this now to gain the extra life. Not that life gain is super relevant here, but I think it's worth doing. And I think we're going to be playing the Shieldred pretty much no matter what this turn. I think I'll discard Basic Forest. There's a world where we hardcast Generous Scent this game. I don't know what they're doing over there. I mean, they've missed a land drop, but they also looted something away to Currency Converter. They didn't make a 2/2 on a turn where they could have. They haven't used Retrofit or Foundry once. So it looks like they're making a treasure now. Sure, that doesn't do much at all. Let's untap. I think I'm just gonna snuff this out now so they can't block. Attack. I'll discard the Unearth. Now I'll Wasteland their thing. Play a tapped land and pass, leaving up Harvester of Misery. And then we just have lethal next turn. I mean, they can make it. They can make one blocker with Retrofitter. We can kill it with Harvester. If they also use Currency Converter to make 2 blockers, then they can survive. But they're also taking a hit from the Malcolm, which lets us then cast Generous Scent for free. And I just don't see really a way that they win from that position. And they agree. Smooth start. See you in round 2. Alas, we have lost the die roll and are going second in round 2. Good hand though, very good hand. Gonna lead on Consider instead of Ancestral because I don't want to be discarding the hand size. Epitome of a first world problem. Let's keep this. I like having Toxic Deluge on the draw, especially against the planes. Still no play, alright, Consider. Sure, I'll keep this. I'm just going to play it out. It's probably going to get killed and be a 1-for-1 with a card that normally you don't want to be a 1-for-1. But when we have Ancestral Recall, I think just playing something, yeah, that's a great exchange for us. Next turn, we're probably jamming the Krasis. A shark, octopus, lizard. That's a Simic card if I've ever heard of one. Chromox Pitch Flage, interesting. Let's see, looks like a 4th Air Lingus. Fair enough. We can get the Krasis down this turn and then Deluge the following turn. I think that's our plan. But it's a little scary, especially if they find a removal spell for the Krasis. Yeah, that does not change our plan. So best case scenario here is they play more creatures. They just play like Voice of Victory, and then, okay, they tap out. Fury would be annoying. Solitude is also annoying. Do we take this hit? I still want to wait before we play the Toxic Deluge because I want to be able to reclaim the Monarchy, ideally. So let's play this out. Pass turn. They just used one of their removal spells that could kill a big creature. Hopefully they don't have another one. This one gets around pretty much all red removal. Palace Jailer, are you kidding me? That is frustrating. Okay, so they have a lot of Monarch stuff. We gotta sweep the board this turn. Yeah, that's just pretty much a necessity. Hopefully we can find some more action too. Alright, Ancestral ourselves first. Don't need to worry about Mana Tithe anymore. Okay, Deluge for 2. Alright. Well, we got pretty wrecked there. That was a tough game. I think we want to play Sorin just as a good blocker here. And we maybe cut the Sedgemoor Witch combo. And then we can play one more land. What do we want? Which land should we add, though? Let's see, we cut 2 black cards, added 1 black card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 green sources. I'll add 1 more swamp. A little weird to cut black cards and add a swamp, but I think it's fine. We have a lot of islands. Okay, we can keep this hand. Very good that we have the Generous Ant. It looked like a bad one-lander at first. This is the sort of hand that should be good against them. Oh, I don't like that, though. I guess we can try to find our Toxic Deluge for that. But yeah, we just have a lot of cheap creatures that are going to be bigger than their creatures. So pass, holding up Malcolm. And I guess tear us under if they play like some artifact, maybe Smuggler's Copter, we would want to tear us under. Alright, let's start by attacking. Ooh, interesting draw. I think I'm actually going to discard the Krasis here, as good as it can be. I think Sentinel can be better. They might also counter this, but there's another situation where, in theory, trading a counterspell for my play should be good. But no, it does resolve. Okay. Not sure what they could be holding over there. On our turn, we're just going to Ancestral plus Map Token to really dig for more lands and keep developing. It would also be pretty sick to get a Springheart Nantuko on the Sentinel. That might be a better line if we find the land. Okay, Hardcast Flage to kill the Malcolm is really not scary. So best draw would be a green land. Not quite. Let's Ancestral main phase. Map onto this. Unearth. I'll keep that, I guess. Yeah, Unearth on the Krasis seems pretty good. They probably just block here, and I'll just pass with Counterspell up. And this just seems like, I don't want to call it unlosable, but they would have to have a really crazy sequence. Not going to counter that. Anything that gets easily swept up by Toxic Deluge, I'm not going to counter. Nadu. I guess we can't really graveyard that either. But weird to be keeping 2 spells when we're missing land drops. Bring back the Krasis and pass with 2 pretty beefy creatures in play. And a Counterspell up. And then we have a nice spot where we can play Nadu and attack, triggering use the Krasis trigger to grow the Sentinel 1 power and also trigger Nadu. And then we can crack the maps to trigger Nadu as well. I kind of want to use the Counterspell here because I don't want to keep holding it up, but that's maybe just bad logic. Yeah, we can probably just never really lose as long as we're attacking with these big creatures and just accumulating value. They are playing something. Is it a Palace Jailer? Oh, Parallax Wave? I think that's actually fine. Yeah, let's let this resolve and use the Terra Sunder instead. So, do we put the shields down for a Nadu turn? I think I will. We also could just find a blue source and win that way. Or not win, but like, well, probably win. If we play Nadu, leaving up a blue land, then use the Krasis trigger and get another blue land so we get to hold a Counterspell, but we also get Nadu into play. I think the game is just totally over. Let's go to combat. Okay. I guess this is just targeting Nadu. It's got to be a good exchange for us. We find a wasteland. Okay, not quite what I wanted. Now I will use this. Tamiya, we can graveyard. Attack with both. I guess we can't adapt this because we put counters on it otherwise, but that's fine. So I'll say yes. Yep, this is fine. Grief. I'm actually going to graveyard it. It wouldn't be terrible. If I could play it this turn, I would love that. But my fear is that we'll just like they'll do the thing like whatever card we were afraid of. They're gonna play it this turn, and then we'll draw a card that like interacts with the hand when we want to be interacting with the board. Like anything that we could grief, we could also counterspell later. So I'm gonna focus on just playing the board here and developing. So they take out the Unruly Krasis. This is just like such a weak line for them. I mean, I think it was probably their best bet, but I don't really see a way that we lose to it. Quantum Riddler, okay. Let's cast that. Well, like, they're just playing defense this whole time. That's not really where you want to be when you're the red-white deck. So I really want to hit another land drop. It's maybe just greedy, but I'm going to map onto this. If we find a land, that would be awesome. We do. Now we can Harvester of Misery to kill this. Could have also just held it a hard cast, but I feel like this has got to be the right line. Just be efficient. What do they do here? Flicker their thing? Okay. I'll let them... Yeah, that seems fine. I guess we could have snuffed out also, but let's just pass. Kind of embarrassing that this game is going on so long, honestly. Feels like we should have been able to just dominate pretty easily. I think this is worth the counterspell here. They only have one card left. They do have Flage in the graveyard, so we need to make sure we have a way to deal with that. Drawing a land would be awesome. Man, why is it so hard to draw lands? Let's attack just to start. Yep. I'm not going to snuff out here. So now the hope is that we can hit a land, put it into our hand, and then Springheart and Nantuko to copy this. Oh my god. Well, I mean, we can't complain about drawing that, but it is like just weird how few lands we've been able to draw. I think I'm going to play out a lot of stuff rather than... Well, no, I'm just going to play the Riddler. It is like... It's big, it gives us another color, and also it's a little bit better if they, like... I would ideally like to save our small spells for triggering Extort with this, so we can potentially transform it. I also think we're going to win no matter what line we take this game. It's going to take forever because we're prioritizing hitting land drops over actually winning or something like that. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so we'll go Springheart and Tuco Bestow. Land. Say yes. Make a copy of this guy. Toxic Deluge for 1. Okay, then we could put the counter on the Riddler, hit for 10 or whatever, and win the game. Okay, so that game they were a lot more anemic. They just straight up Boros, nothing particularly unusual about it. I think we just want to run it back. Yeah, we'll submit. Alright, another great hand. Terra Sunder may or may not be a good piece of interaction. We don't have like a sort of fatal push, but we barely even have that in our deck. We can curve out with just cheap plays into Ancestral Recall to reload. Both players have 1/2s on the first turn. Hopefully they're just planning on cracking this clue. I will block. Main phase cracked the clue is kind of weird. Doesn't really matter though. Which gonna pass. Not gonna attack. I think definitely the game going longer favors us. So if I could have us both at 20 or both at 19, I'll take both at 20. Okay, so I'm gonna let this resolve because the main 4-drops we've seen, Parallax Wave and Palace Jailer, are both not that good here. Yeah, this is great news for us. And then we can still tear asunder their thing if we were worried about that. If they have Solitude, that would be annoying. No, I don't like that pause. I'm scared. Snuff-Out was a good draw if we're able to take the Monarchy. If they have Solitude White card, I think we're probably like 20% to win. If they don't have Solitude White card, I think we're 80% to win. I think it's that high leverage of a moment. It's not. It's probably more like, well, maybe. No, we're probably 40% to win if they do have it. Looks like this is going to connect. No slow roll. Nice. So we get back our death right. We get to loot pitching Unearth. Then let's go Swamp, tear asunder, Ancestral Recall, and pass. So there's a good chance we're going to snuff out their Palace Jailer here, but I want to do it. Like, what I don't want is to snuff it out now and then they just play a better creature with haste and we still lose the Monarchy. The con of waiting is that we know they have Mana Tithe and they could Mana Tithe us. Okay, that is pretty annoying. That does mean that they can take the Monarchy back. Yep. What are our ways around this? Not great ones at all. When we take 3, they become the Monarch. I think we're maybe still okay. But we just need to make sure we can get to like a point where after the pressure this Parallax Wave and then make it so that we have a good board position after it's gone. We could have played Snuff Out to kill the Palace Jailer just to like save some life. Maybe that was correct. I think not though. Yeah, that's fine. Would love to draw one more spell here, or one more like a cheap spell so we could double spell. Toxic Deluge, interesting. Is it worth it to just play that? No. Let's just play Nadu. Then Parallax Wave goes down to 2. And they kind of have to hit our Nadu, which puts it down to 1. And then we'll be able to get... Like, yeah, I think we'll just be in a pretty solid spot then. Unless they have a lot more pressure, of course. Like, if they just go, take out the Nadu, don't care about the trigger, 4th Air Lingus for 3 dudes, attack for 9. Even then, it's still not that bad, actually. If we go to 7, then we pay 2 life down to 5. Then we get back our whole board. We have a bunch of life gain with Shieldred and Sorin, and even Deathrite. Solitude, sure. Pitching Ephemerate, that's kind of interesting. Yep. Then they do have the 4th Air Lingus. Alright, scary. Just taking this hit. Then we can go Sorin, Deluge, Extort. Although we actually don't gain any. Nice, we do draw Swamp, so now we gain life from that too. I will extort. 11 is not that bad of a life total. This killed all their stuff, and now the 4th Aer Lingus is gone for good, which means we don't have to worry about it down the road. They could just use the Parallax Wave to save both of their creatures if they want to. But then it expires next turn, and we get our stuff back as well, and that's, I guess, kind of a wash. Yeah, they do it. We could have, I guess, played Snuff Out in response to on the... well, no, because they hit the Palace Jailer first. If we Snuff Out, then we're essentially just snuffing out the Thraben Inspector. So this happens. We each get our dudes back. They get to take out one of our creatures, probably the Malcolm. But I weirdly feel like we're still in a fine spot. We can also flip our Sorin. Deathrite Shaman is good for that. Oh, they take out the Sorin. Okay, so they must have a flyer or something then. I don't think they would just let us have the only flyer on the board. Maybe they have something like Fury that deals with our small toughness creatures, but the big booty on Sorin would be a problem for them. Gut. That is something that I think we have to stop. Really bad if they have a Mana Tide here. Oh wait, they don't have any creatures to attack with. Whoops. Well, makes it a little less bad that they have Mana Tide, but still it's scary. But we are going to get to become the Monarch and get back our Sorin now. Whoa. Okay. So let's attack for 2. Opponent's saying it's been a great game, which is definitely true. So we get to loot. Wow, all of these cards are great. I think I'm going to discard the Wasteland. No, I'm actually going to discard the Sentinel. It's kind of weird, but I want to gain life here. That's my biggest fear. So let's go Eat Your Solitude. Then Wasteland, Hardcast, Harvester of Misery, Extort. So this kills 2 of my creatures, 3 of their creatures. We're left with the only 2 creatures on the board. We're the Monarch, and we have a reasonable life total, having just gained 3 life. Our hand's also sick. Like, we can next turn just go Shieldred, then Warp Quantum Riddler and draw 2, gaining 4. Like, seems pretty tough for them to overcome that with 4th Aer Lingus already gone. They could go, like, Land Fury maybe, kill the Harvester of Misery, but then we still get to do this thing and flip our Sorin. At the beginning of your post-combat main phase. So that will count life that we gain. Oh, no, never mind. It might be hard for us to flip this. Oh, no, yeah, we should be able to flip this. And dome them for a lot of damage. Okay, it's a good card. They kill the Harvester of Misery. Interesting. It's not what I was expecting, but I get it. Let's go for Shieldred. Extort. I have not extorted this many times in a long time. We go Island. Quantum Riddler. Extort. For white this time, just because we can. Draw 2. Gain 4. So now I've gained 6 this turn in all. Go at your face for 1. Now I've gained 7. And I'm going to kill... I think I'm going to kill this rather than hit them for a lot of damage. It's kind of close. But I really don't want them to keep this Elspeth in play. That just seems like a good way for things to get out of hand if it's copying, like, other stuff. We could have had them at 2, of course, I guess. So that would be the other side. But like, if we just hit their face, but then they can kill our Shieldred, they still have Elspeth in play. It just seemed like a bad spot. You know, they could Flage or something to kill our Sorin. Okay, Shieldred down. Then they crack the clue. If they had Shieldred into Flage, that would be scary. But as is, it seems like we're in a good spot. So we'll go cast this. I'm going to say no to this because we're going to go for Springheart and Tuco. So we make a second Riddler. Then let's make a food token and pass turn. Our hand is pretty bad, but it's still pretty hard for them to imagine a way for them to win. We're at 18 life now, so we don't have to worry about that at all. And yeah, we get there. All right, sweet. Very interesting match. 2-0. See you in the finals. On the draw for the finals, unfortunately. I will keep this hand. It's not the best ever, but we have all our colors, and we have Toxic Deluge, which is good if we're behind. Alright, that's decent. We can go turn 2 Malcolm, and then potentially get the Malcolm loot, the Quantum Riddler draw, and 2 draw steps. So we get 4 more looks to find our land. Goblin Bombardment. That is potentially going to shut down our Malcolm. Still going to hold it up. I mean, hopefully they don't... You know, if they have to sacrifice a real creature to trade with the Malcolm, that's fine. What I don't want is for them to, like, play Orcish Bowmasters or a Johnny or something like that, where they can sacrifice some incidental token for value to kill the Malcolm. Okay. I think I'm pretty happy to see this rather than some threats. Alright, so now we get a couple looks. We can also potentially just loot away the Unruly Crisis and then draw it, which is kind of nice. Okay. Please. Brutal. Alright, let's discard the Nadu and then reanimate it, I guess. We do have to miss our land drop, but we get to cheat on mana a little bit here. I mean, we could have also gone for the Quantum Riddler and just try to like spike the swamp and get lucky. That would be the high upside play, but I think we really want to get this Nadu into play. This protects the Malcolm too. Like now if they kill the Malcolm, it's not even that bad. And if we get to untap with Malcolm, then we miss our 3rd land drop once, but we're very, very likely to find it for our next turn. Basalt Monolith, okay. We'll start by just attacking. Good draw, though. Okay, so let's discard Toxic Deluge, I think, since we have Dam. And then just play Unruly Crisis. And this seems like a pretty solid spot. We have very good board pressure with Nadu backup, so it's hard for them to effectively deal with this stuff. And our hand is also good, and we have a removal spell. So looking good in most ways. I don't know what's in their deck. If they're playing something like Balance, that would be a disaster. And there's not really much we could do to play around that. But against any normal cards they could have here, you gotta like our odds pretty well. We have 11 damage, so with our attack plus the Shieldred, we have lethal next turn. What you doing over there, Bago Balboa? Okay, Relic of Sauron is fine. Into Urza. Alright, that's a little scarier, but still fine. Start by going to combat. Alright, we'll attack and trigger here, which gives us a Nadu. They can kill it in response if they want to, but that's not that bad. So say yes. Okay, so I'm gonna kill the Urza here. Loot. Don't think we need this Kitsa. And then let's go land Shieldred. Which shuts down like a lot of the sequences that could get them out of this with like card draw. It also just puts them down to 4 either way. Goblin Bombardment's a weird card for them to be playing. Haven't seen... I mean, maybe they're playing like Saheeli. Okay, interesting play. That does kind of work. If we put a Springheart Nantuko on the Shieldred, I don't know how that would work. Like, could we make a copy that would be legendary so the original would die, but like we get a new one that keeps the ability? I'm not sure. It also loses the Nadu ability. That's kind of interesting. Or at least it doesn't have the blue text here. So can we kill them this turn? Probably not. That was... okay. I mean, that's fine. Like, now they can sacrifice something to kill the Malcolm without losing their... without triggering Nadu again, but it doesn't really make sense to phase out the Nadu there. Yep. They had to kill that because it also had 3 counters. At that point, it could now start just casting free Quantum Riddlers and stuff. I mean, I think I'm just going to go for the kill, honestly. Harvester of Misery here. Lethal attack. I mean, I don't know what they have here. Maybe a blocker. Or okay, that technically keeps them alive, but is just so bad. They go to 3. And then I shock this so I can replay it. Replay the Shieldred and continue the pressure. This puts them down to 1 on their draw step. And they can't play another card draw spell. They need... I mean, balance maybe could get them out of it here, but I think it'd be pretty tough. Nice. So we take down some sort of weird blue-red artifact Goblin Bombardment deck in game 1. Do we want to bring in Sorin? Probably not. Do we want to be playing this Sedgemoor Witch combo, though? No, so I will just bring in the Sorin, I think. Do the same change we made a couple times where we just, like, you know, bring in a Swamp. Maybe we should just not be playing the Witch combo at all. We sided it out pretty much every matchup and never missed it. And Sorin was actually quite good the one time we got it going. Ooh, this hand is beautiful. Okay, definitely keeping... I wish we were on the play, of course, but turn 1, Tameo, and turn 2, flip Tameo off of Ancestral is just a really busted start. So next we drop to 7, play land on 6, play ancestral down to 5. We're gonna have to discard a card to hand size if we just do this ancestral thing, nothing else, but that's fine. Turn 2 Planeswalker, not bad. Now we'll just sequence our Overgrown Tomb, tapped, and discard Genersent or Basic Island. I think Basic Island, it's slightly more likely that we hardcast the Genersent, I think, than that it hurts us to not have that island and like need to cycle the Genersent later. So that does shut down the Tameo minus, but we can just build towards the Tameo plus, and that's fine. Walking Ballista, okay. Interesting draw. I think I want to hardcast the Grief, so I'll wait a turn before going for it. Let's just play land, Kitsa, and pass. And then even if they want to put a counter on the Ballista, they have no attacks because the Tameo shrinks their thing. Fair enough. Yeah, I think our plan is just to go and a turn cycle Genersent, which having drawn more action, we're now less likely to want to hardcast it. So cycle Genersent, untap land, hardcast Grief, I think. Ooh. That is pretty tempting. No, I'm still gonna. Well, they are just so likely to have a counterspell, though. Yeah, let's just wasteland them, honestly. I think there's basically no reason not to do this. Delaying for turn when we're getting close to ultimating Tameo feels like that's gotta be good. We could also just evoke Grief, but I think I don't want to do that. Alright, would we rather warp the Quantum Riddler or use this clue token? I think I'd rather warp the Quantum Riddler and have more game objects in play. If we draw a terrible black card, maybe I'll Grief. Maybe I'll Grief anyways. Yeah, you know what? Let's Grief pitching Toxic Deluge, I think. Because if we're able to just ultimate the Tameo next turn, then that just ends the game. So we'll take whatever thing could be stopping us from doing that. Like if they have Tishana's Tidebinder, that it'd be really nice to have Grief that. Okay, their hand is pretty terrible. How do we even lose? Hard to say, but I guess it involves Tezzeret. Is there any weird like Grim, like if they tapped a Grim Monolith? Grim Monolith would actually kill us. So in light of that, I guess I'll take the Zerto. And now this is, I think, just a -7, which is crazy. So they can, even if they would have to go land and then put 2 counters on the ballista and remove them both just to keep the Tamio from ultimating for 1 turn. That's got to be just like I feel like there's no way they can win if that's their line, but I feel like there's no way they can win if they have another line. So there's the Tezzeret. Yep. Okay. So they have to be able to get a soul ring or something like that here. If they get soul ring, oh wait, what? Oh, huh. Okay, sure, that works. So they have to kill this now, and they don't. So let's just draw half of our deck. I'm just going to close out of all this other stuff that's not super relevant for us here. So, I mean, we need to actually win the game now. Should be fairly trivial. Let's just kill their ballista. Let's just kill their ballista and pass with counterspell up for this turn, I think. I feel like our hand is weirdly bad, given that we have our entire deck in our hand. But I don't think it's going to be a problem. They're holding this stuff. So we're probably going to just hit the Tezzeret for 1, then counter the Urza when that comes down, or if they even have a blue source for it. We also need to worry about this Ghost Vacuum a little bit. Like, we don't have that many lands to do anything with all this stuff, but that's fine. I mean, we actually have a lot of power. Like just these 3 alone can create a ton of power, and then we also have the Springheart and Tuco. I guess they just go land Ghost Vacuum now, and they get a 1/1 generous. I mean, that's just still not that bad, right? Okay, I think I'm just gonna. Well, we'll see. I need to decide if I want to go for the Ghost Vacuum or for their mana here. All right, so I'll just play this, and I think there's not really a point in using Kitsa here. Like we have whatever cards we need. Now, if we can trigger Prowess twice, we can kill the Tezzeret. Is there a good way to do that? We could do it once very easily. I don't really want to cast like another. I guess we could just play Consider just for the Prowess trigger and keep pretty much anything we draw on top. Then we'll take out Ghost Vacuum and I'll just let them have their mana. This gives us 5 power, which lets us kill the Tezzeret. We need to make sure that we don't just like run out of win conditions or like mill ourselves before they get us. But I think that should be pretty easy to do. So we send both of these at Tezzeret and then pass with Counterspell up. We could have also used Kitsa to copy the thing and take out another one of their artifacts, but I think I'd rather just hold up Counterspell. Now we can counter this Atali, which might draw a concession. Alright, just gonna untap. We'll go Krasis, I think, puts the most power into play. And then Springheart and Tuco on the Krasis, even though we can't use it this turn. So we'll say no, we just get that, then attack. This is going to make us loot. I think that's fine. Pass turn. Funny game. Feels like we should be able to win this one. I mean, they don't even have double blue for the Urza right now. We are out of counter magic, so it's not impossible that they could win, but it would take something pretty weird. Yep. We have removal spells for all this. In fact, I think I'm going to snuff this out now to take them off of double blue. Very unlikely to matter, but if they have like some sort of weird, you know, I can imagine a sequence where they have time warp or something, and that allows them to get back into it. But this should be good. Tamiyo, pretty good. All this was just from a 1 mana investment. Granted, you can't always flip it easily on turn 2, but with Ancestral Recall that helps. Now they get to make their dude, but the dude doesn't make any mana anymore. Is there anything good to bring back? Not really. No offense to the Tamiyo. So we'll go land, make another dude, then play Damn to kill their blocker. Then attack with everything, which is lethal unless their last card saves them, but I don't even know what they could have. Alright, sick. So we got the trophy. That feels pretty good. Yeah, this deck was very, very strong. I was honestly surprised at how well it performed. But I think a big, like, having this great foundation of cheap blue card draw with Ancestral, Tamiyo, Consider really, really helps. I guess Quantum Riddler to some extent as well. And then we back that up with a solid amount of interaction. Not a ton, but with Toxic Deluge, that goes a long way. And then a bunch of hard-hitting 3-drops. These cards were able to close out the game more quickly than I expected, which is good to see. And then a great mana base and whatnot. We never used the Sedmore Witch combo, and maybe should have just been not playing it, because Sorin was actually surprisingly good. But yeah, pretty sweet Sultai trophy. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.